So an accident is an event which happens to one or more persons or things in an unexpected manner without being foreseen and without intention. So that happening does not have, it is neither foreseen nor is there an intention behind it. That is the way we understand. Therefore, accidents stand out from general and foreseen order of events as unusual and separate. Right? A so-called accident is like any other event on the physical plane of a thought. So can we mute those?
सुकेश क्यों कर रहे हो फोन
दिनेश जी म्यूट कर सकते हैं
या सॉरी
Okay. Right? So now what is happening? So it is not foreseen. There is an order of an event. When an event is to occur, we know yesterday when we closed the chapter, we said there is a thought, there is a purpose, there is an aim, and there is a time and a place. When all four coincide, it becomes an event, correct? Are you all with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. So,
Yes, sir.
if an event has to get exteriorized, there are certain conditions. Right? So, that is what he is referring to as order of events as unusual or separate. A so-called accident is like any other event on the physical plane, a thought, in a certain part of its course. That means, so basically we need to recall here that when a thought occurs to us, it is like a journey of its own kind. The fueling to the thought happens to be the intent behind it, or the endurance of the thought. That means we keep thinking about it and we keep progressing that particular thought. So when the thought is along its course, we don't know how it will manifest because there are, for the exteriorization, there are totally 4 conditions. So one of them, which might have been from the past, when that gets triggered, we don't realize that, right? So what is he saying? A so-called accident is like any other event on the physical plane. A thought in a certain part of its course. The thought endures until the balancing factor has brought about an adjustment through the one who issued that thought. Correct? Okay. There is another path also that comes. A thought is being created by the conscious light and desire, which when issued has in it an aim, a potential design, and a balancing factor. The balancing factor, which like the needle of a compass, points to the final balance of the thought as a whole. With me? So on one side, the thought has got its characteristics when issued, And on the other side, it has got its path that it is taking. When all of them meet, the thought will endure. That means that journey of the thought will continue till, right, the adjustment through one who has issued it takes place. So thus, the balancing factor causes exteriorization as long as the thought endures. Whenever the thought, moving in its course, approaches the physical plane, it causes the one who issued it to be in place for an exteriorization of that thought. So as it is going, it also ensures that the person who issued the thought is in that place, because it is the responsibility of the individual who has issued it to balance the thought. So the balancing factor is like the magnet which ensures that this particular person has reached wherever he is, right? And exteriorization can happen only when there is a juncture of time, condition, and place. But from the perspective of, from whose perspective? From whose perspective is that going to be?
Who issued the thought?
Who issued the thought, right? So, see, while we are aware of having issued the thought, we are not taking cognizance of the potential course or path that it could take. And that causes its own impact. And when that gets exteriorized, just because it is balancing the thought that is the thought issue, it is at the place, you are also at that place, wherever that is taking place, and the timing. All those coincide, then you are reaching the juncture of exteriorization. Clear?
And that
Yes,
that
Swapna,
impact
go
is
ahead.
there not only whoever all participated in that thought, not only who issued, but who all participated in that thought, right, sir?
No. You are going way far. You are going into thought and its impact of how these accidents or occurrences impact a group. We will come to the
Yeah, group.
community part later.
Yeah, because I have that one example. I don't know if there is a time I can tell you exactly
We
this
will
thought
take them up
experience.
towards the end at the appropriate place. Here, see, first of all, what is an accident? We are trying to understand that. Right? So, an accident is something that has happened in an unexpected manner. Good or bad, he is not talking about. All is saying there is an accident. The accident happens, and the accident is happening by virtue of four critical entities. The thought has to be given the necessary energy for it to endure till it gets exteriorized. Now, where is it drawing that power to get exteriorized? The moment the thought is issued, its only desire is to get exteriorized. If it is taking that kind of a path and we don't have this kind of a clarity, right, then we call it an accident. Okay. Let's proceed further before we get into the QA of this. So now, what has happened? Yeah. So an exteriorization can happen only when there is a junction of time, condition, and place. And the balancing factor will ensure and influence the individual who has issued the thought, maybe one or many. Right? who is responsible for issuing the thought to be available there so that the balancing and the exteriorization happens. The laws which control the exteriorization do not always, remember this, they do not always fit in with the intention and expectation of the person concerned. Right? Everyone with me? So the
Yes,
laws which control the exteriorization do not always fit in with the intention and the expectation of the persons concerned. And such exteriorization is then called an accident. Thus,
fit in मतलब unaware, right? Fit in मतलब इस केस में unaware.
now, unaware नहीं, fit in मतलब they do not coincide.
नहीं तो exteriorization तो that will only happen when three things will coincide, right?
Yes, correct. So if they don't coincide with your expectations, it is only then that you are going to call it an accident.
Okay.
See, he is
Okay.
first of all, our
So
entire
intent here
focus-
is our expectation is
no,
what is the
our
intent.
intent here is to understand what we call an accident. If I ask you, Mr. Ji, to tell me what is an accident, आप क्या समझाएंगे बताइए?
Unknown surprise.
No, okay, surprise. Surprise का दूसरा वर्ड बोलिए और भी सिंपल करके. मैंने जो सोचा वो हुआ नहीं, तो वो एक्सीडेंट ही हुआ ना?
The against our
ठीक है.
thought.
हाँ,
Again.
ठीक है,
It
ऐसा
is
भी सोच
not-
सकते हैं.
हाँ, क्या जी सर?
ठीक, ऐसा भी सोच सकते हैं.
नहीं, अगर आपने
मतलब we can-
जो सोचा है वो आपको मिला नहीं है.
हाँ.
Okay.
Unexpected experience.
Not met
Exactly.
the expectations.
It has not met the intention.
Expectation.
See, not even expectation. He is saying it has not met the direction of the intention. Why? Because your intention is not coinciding with all the four parameters that are necessary for that what do you call it? Exteriorization to happen. तीन गेट खुला है, चौथा नहीं है, तो आपको वो दिखेगा.
But still exteriorization will happen, huh? If all four things doesn't meet.
The four will coincide, but it may not necessarily be in line with your thinking.
Okay.
Okay. So only then will you use the word accident. अगर आपको जो चाहिए वो मिल गया, उसी टाइमलाइन में मिल गया, तो आप खुश और वहां से भूल के निकल जाओगे.
So is this that unwanted thing happened is because of the past thoughts, sir? It still happened, something happened
I
which
will
is
not
against
jump
you.
the sequence in which I am flowing.
So I'm
नहीं,
just
but
trying
अभी
to
थोड़ी देर
Answer, but
पहले
I don't
आपने-
want. We need to experience. See, yeah.
But sir, अभी आपने थोड़ी देर पहले ये कहा था कि
हाँ.
accident can be also an unawareness of the fact, correct? उसको पता नहीं था accident
मैंने आपको
उस situation.
सर एक बार आपके माइंड से थॉट निकला, ठीक है? अभी देखिए आप एक प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? इन रियल लाइफ अगर देखेंगे, आप एक प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं, बट देयर आर नो हैंड ओवर डॉक्यूमेंट्स, सो यू डोंट नो वेयर द प्रीवियस सिचुएशन इज.
ठीक है.
ठीक है, आपने नया नौकरी लिया है, जो भी प्रोजेक्ट कर रहा था वो आदमी ने गलत किया है, तो उसको भगा दिया वहां से, आपको वो काम दे दिया है. आप कहां से चालू करोगे? यू कांट कंटिन्यू फ्रॉम देयर and you cannot repeat what he has been doing, correct? So you are going to start at a particular point. Now apply this scenario to the condition of a thought and exteriorization.
ठीक है समझा सर.
Okay? So
Are
when
we-
you take that approach, right, then you will say some accident happened. I got into it just now. I am going to relook and see how I am going to exteriorize what is required. Correct?
जी.
So
Sir.
here we are only interested in defining what is that accident.
Correct.
In
Yeah,
the process, it is being explained to us that it has got 4 characteristics. When all of them match, it will get exteriorized. ठीक है ना? तो आगे बढ़.
जी साहब.
आगे बढ़.
रामकृष्ण सर कुछ कह रहे थे. Let's listen from him.
हाँ.
Yeah, are we confining saying accidents, only the bad results are considered as accidents? Because what I'm trying to think in my mind is that, hey, accidentally I met my friend after 35 years. It's
Sir.
a good thing happened, but unexpected. That's all.
Now you use the last word in your sentence.
But so unthought of, unplanned, or unexpected.
Exactly. Unintentional. It is not in line with your intention, so it is an accident. He is not giving it a vector. It is still a scalar only. He is not converting it to a direction, saying positive or negative.
Okay, so it's just an accident, but there is no thought in my mind saying that I'm going to meet, or I expect to meet, or I do not expect to meet. It's neutral completely.
Sir, it may not necessarily be your current state of thought, right? It is a
No, I mean-
thought you wanted to meet him at some particular point. It so happened that he was there, you were there, and all the other parameters came together and it got exteriorized. But
I mean, not even.
the timing of it need not necessarily be, or any one of those parameters will not be in line with your intention. Are you
Sir,
getting the point?
can we say it is the past intention? It happened.
Can be
so
anything.
definitely
See.
there is.
Swarna,
Can be anything.
it can, see, look at it this way. The moment a thought is issued, it is like a Ramaban. It has to go to its target. You're clear on that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that is.
The moment a thought comes, it has to go to its target. The target is exteriorization. Correct? But there are a few other factors which are going to influence the exteriorization. One is it has to have an intent or an aim or a purpose. Okay? It has to have a place. It has to have a timing.
This we can take it as, our fear. When sometime we feel you have a fear of accident or something, you are just visualized, but you have not given us so much of energy to that. Okay, you left that thought, but it was there in the universe. Okay, so maybe in future or maybe at the current state, something happened. That extra thought is still there in the universe. That may exteriorize today or this moment of time, and which we call as an accident.
See, it will happen. Accident is the qualifier for accident is intention.
Yes.
Okay. Beyond that, everything else is the process of exteriorization. Okay. Expectation met, expectation not met. Intention met, intention not met. When the intention is not met and something gets exteriorized, you are not going into the analysis of that. Don't do it now. Because he gives a beautiful example for you to analyze. And even the course of that analysis, how it impacts the others, beautifully explained in that particular example. But here, first of all, be very clear that you have understood what is an accident clearly. Okay? So let's go back. So, an accident, okay, once fit in with the intention and expectation of the persons concerned, and such exteriorization is then called an accident. Clear? All of us are on the same page? Now,
जी
further, thus, an accident is a perceived physical part of a thought which is proceeding on its otherwise invisible course. See, we are not able to clearly see the course of its exteriorization. वो पाथ तो हमको मालूम नहीं है. You're right? Right. Now, when you
Correct.
don't know the path and it is getting exteriorized, if it is in line with your intention, fine, it has met your requirement. So, it has got exteriorized in line with your this one. So, it doesn't qualify for being called an accident. It has gone, it is not in line with your intention. लेने के देने पड़ गए. Okay. ये जिंदगी में बहुत बार होता है. आपको कुछ करना चाहते हो, you want to get something, you go to do good, but it becomes bad. Right? All those are accidents. Right? Okay. Now let us try to understand some more. Okay. Let's consider accidents as a personal injury, or a barn getting struck by lightning, or an occurrence which prevents one from embarking on a ship that is to be wrecked. Such situations come only to those whose thoughts are partially exteriorized to them. That means one of the conditions has not got completely met. An accident presents to the one to whom it happens something of one's past. Okay? Either distant or recent. So now the other flavor of an accident that could have happened. Now here, Swarna, your question is getting answered. Swarna ma'am,
Yes,
you
sir.
there?
Yeah, yes,
So
sir.
now he is saying an accident which is partially exteriorized. Right? For them, probably they will take, suppose it is not completely materialized, but to some extent, such occurrences are a result of the past thoughts. We will go further.
Yeah, I can give exact accident happened, sir, yesterday. So exactly, I
Give
can
the example
relate.
so that people,
So
all of us are
yeah,
able to
exactly,
relate.
true. So she's my daughter's roommate, and best friend. She
Tell me.
to the other country from where
And
we
we
are,
lost
US.
you in between, Swarna.
So do you hear me, sir? Now?
Yeah, now we are able to hear you.
Yeah. So yeah, so she went to Costa Rica, different country, to study summer.
Ma'am, can
She
you
was my
repeat?
daughter's. So yeah, we are here in US, right? And my daughter's roommate, she went to other country beside like Costa Rica, and she died in a current in the water. She sucked in and
Okay, in the water current, she lost her life. Okay.
last year, like yesterday. Yeah. So she went all the way from here just to do her summer studies for 2 months. And she's no more. So I'm thinking from here, maybe her time, her event, the place, everything matched. All 10 of them went, but she's the only lost her life, and everybody could able to come out of it.
Yes,
So,
it
and
could
parents
be
now-
by virtue.
Yeah.
See, to us
So
it
maybe
may
past-
appear an accident.
Mm.
To us it may appear an accident, but we don't know her mind and her thought process.
What I
To
mean,
that extent, we don't even know her soul plan when she had planned an exit.
oh,
See, it could be one of those, but we will be giving it the name of an accident because that is what we are able to perceive out of it. And
mm.
that explanation is correct from the perspective of what happened to her. But there could be
So
other
time and place is matching. Mm.
time and place is matching, but her intention could be influenced by other people's thoughts as well.
Mm.
That will get explained. Just wait till that experience or the example that he takes gets analyzed.
But she's impacted, so it's her own thought. It could be, right. It
Yeah, it
exteriorized.
can be her
or,
own thought. Can be her own thought, beyond doubt. But it could also be the others in her life and what they are supposed to get out of this. Maybe her parents, her siblings, and all
yeah, some
that.
lesson, life lessons or something.
Correct. Right?
Yeah.
We will see that. Just give it a little bit of more time.
Yeah. Because I wanted, was it exactly like time? She has
It
tried
is
to go
very
all the way
similar.
there, like different country.
It is on the track only. Okay.
Mm.
Right?
Thank you, sir.
So such accidents, right? Those thoughts which have got partially exteriorized, right? They happen to come from something of one's past. The accident is a part of one's own, a part of one's own thought that he has not balanced and which will endure and from time to time meet him face to face as a physical event until he has paid or received payment through the direct exteriorization of the design, or learn one's lesson from that child of one's own mind and desire. So that means it is the chain, right? And has satisfied one's conscience. So there are so many conditions that are leading to that. It could be what you are expecting. It could be part of your earlier thought that has got now materialized. And then it could be part of what is required to happen, which has not yet happened. And that partial thing happening again and again, it is repeating. See, we say in our dreams, right, in spiritual tablets, right, when we get the same dream again and again, we need to take cognizance of that and see what we have to do with it. We take it to a spiritual guru to get it read, get it understood, and all that. That comes from this repeated knocking the door. If that is coming so repeatedly, it is definitely from his past thought. Okay, everyone with me on that? And that will keep on happening till that balancing has happened. Often, accidents come to injure him, often to help him, and sometimes comes up as protections. Right here, instead of a major thing happening, it could be a minor thing happening, giving him the lesson and going away. The reasons why events happen to an individual in the form of accidents or in an exceptional, unforeseen manner, or that a man would not do certain things to himself, like breaking an arm or getting into circumstances that do not call for a commission of a crime against him, that is an intentional injury, or finally the same thing happening, is the easiest and most direct way to bring about the juncture of time, condition, and place for the exteriorization. So this is another condition that it happens. Are you with me? But then someone is joining and going away. Now who has gone? Yeah.
Yeah, please explain again, sir, what is another condition?
See, the other condition happens to be clearly coming from, right? You may not end up doing something like breaking an arm or something unpleasant, you will not do. But that is essential for the exteriorization to happen. That is necessary for you to learn the lessons that you have to learn. So they may come without any warning, and instead of it being a major thing, they will teach you the same lesson through a minor approach.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example from my life.
Correct, sir.
I will give you an example from my life. See, in Delhi, you have this Pragati Maidan where large industrial exhibitions have happened, correct? And I was sitting in one technology company in a very senior post. I was called as a panel member. I never take a shortcut. That day, I don't know what happened. I was in a hurry. I took a shortcut and I jumped a 4 feet partition. Everything was fine. But that night when I came back home, I realized that it was a minor fracture. Now, on the other side of the story, if I am able to take this and relate it to what actually happened, my doctor was asking me to take some bed rest because I had got literally exhausted. For about 62 days, at a stretch, I had been traveling from one place to other without properly resting. And when I spoke to my doctor and my cousin, he advised me, he said, hey guy, you are actually spoiling your health. It is high time you come and take some rest at home. And I was avoiding that. Now what happened? Now let us try to put the two scenarios together. I had an accident. It was not intentional because I had done that 4 feet jumping. I have done so many times. There was no reason for me to hit a corner of a stone and then twist my leg such that I break one of the bones. When I come to the doctor, he says, see, it's a very minor crack. That crack will heal in 2 weeks. 2 weeks bed rest. Are you able to relate the two and understand this? Sadhna ma'am. Sadhna, you there? You are muted if you are saying something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
See, now
Yeah, I
there
can
are
see it,
two
sir.
independent things. Probably the thought that I need to take rest was a recent thought on the advice of the doctor. But my workload was overwhelming and I could not assign it to someone. So I went on pursuing my workload at the cost of health. But it was essential for my health. The thought pertaining to the head had to direct some action. So it created a minor problem in my health, which warranted 2 weeks of rest, and then everything was normal. Would I have gone and broken my foot just to take that rest?
No, sir. No. Universe is giving us like, yeah, you need to slow down and take.
These things happen. And that accident did not happen here. Because if it would have happened here, probably I would not have taken that kind of a scenario and all that. There I was tired of traveling. I was tired of there are so many causes which resulted in my trying to jump over that. I jumped successfully. Another incident I happened when I had gone to Kashi. From Kashi, I had gone somewhere else. And my Guruji was telling me right from the beginning, he said, don't go there. If you go there, forget photography. I didn't listen. So I went on walking, taking a photograph, nice shot, nice shot, nice shot. Suddenly I found myself 6 feet height. I thought that say this is that Buddha's, this one, what is that place? Starting with S.
Sarnath.
Sarnath. Right? I had visited the shrine. वहाँ पे थोड़ा meditate किया, सब कुछ किया. Then I said, this is a beautiful scene. I should take a perfect picture. पीछे गया. Suddenly देखा हाथ में ना कैमरा था, ना मेरा फोन था, और मैं जमीन पे पड़ा हूँ. Right? वो जो partition नहीं था, the protective wall, right, at the end of a corridor, वो नहीं था. और मेरा concentration कहाँ पर है? वहाँ से गिरा. Then I went to the doctor. First I checked whether I could walk and all that. अच्छा ठीक है, कुछ टूटा तो नहीं, अभी कुछ sprain तो हुआ होगा. So I went to the homeopath. होम्योपैथ पाए गए, पहले देखते हैं आपका बोन कुछ टूटा है क्या. और टूटा होता तो हिट में लगा होता. I went there. Then I actually went to Kashi under pressure. I did not want to go. This is the other side of the story. No, I didn't continue. My wife and others who were there, they continued. I took a flight and came back. Right? The accident gave me an opportunity to go in line with what I wanted rather than what they wanted. So all such happenings are a result of the earlier thought. Earlier thought was I did not want to go to Kashi. So I came back. They pursued, they went to other places and all. So in which way it would manifest, you will not be able to decide. It can even manifest via some unpleasant minor thing happening to you to make things. Actually, even the guys in that Saranath temple, they were worried because no one had fallen 6 feet below, got up and walked. And I was really lucky. Had I gone wrong in the angle of my fall by 2 inches, right? Itta bada stone ka sharp edge would have gone inside my back. Right? So it was a minor thing, right? It was an accident, but actually speaking, it was a pleasant one as far as I am concerned. And many people around me were concerned, right? So these kind of things also could be a manifestation of what we have issued as a thought. And that thought, because we will not do something and it was relevant and all the conditions matched, it got exteriorized. Okay? Right. Now let us go further. Okay, so now he is talking about you could break your bone, or it could be an intentional injury, or something that has been happening accidentally is the easiest and most direct way to bring about the juncture of time, condition, and place for the exteriorization. Further, there is, in the happening of an accident, a special call for attention. Thus, an accident rather than an ordinary event produces this because the accident is unlooked for startling, that is, causing momentary fright, surprise, or astonishment, a startling discovery. That is what. Now I have to take this from somewhere because the context of the way startling has been here used here was not very easy for me to understand. Okay. Right. So now let us go a little bit further. Now, what is the pathway of a thought? See, a thought has its own pathway. An accident is brought about in the ordinary course of the law of thought as destiny. Every man has a vast number of thoughts, which is correct, cycling in his mental atmosphere towards and away from exteriorization on the physical plane. So, where does the thought emanate from? It is from the mental atmosphere, the mental plane. Okay, right? It is coming from there. The thought, one second. Yeah. Every man has a vast number of thoughts cycling in his mental atmosphere towards and away from exteriorization on the physical plane. The thoughts live on with a tendency to exteriorize. That we already know, right? Any thought keep on continuing with a tendency to exteriorize. In the events which the balancing factor in each of them requires and projects, the thoughts begin and continue their cycles from the time a person issues them. Whenever they approach the physical plane, they seek to exteriorize. However, they are often held back by the exteriorizations of his present design. Right? When there is an opportunity, however big or small, the whole nature of the man seizes upon it and uses it to precipitate an event which will bring about one of these exteriorizations. So there are a number of thoughts that are connected. One of them will get exteriorized. So what he's saying, every thought, once it is issued, endures and appears cyclically exteriorized as a physical event. For that purpose, the one who issues the thought calls mentally or physically, psychically, on the other person concerned with the thought through their atmospheres. So what is he referring to here when it comes to these atmospheres? Anybody? Kanchan, if you're
All
talking,
four.
you're muted. Huh? Yeah.
All four atmospheres.
Yes, all four. That is, and when it comes to the planes, it is the knower from his neotic plane, or it is the thinker
Physical.
coming from which one? Mental plane. So when the thought is issued in the mental plane, it can be mental or it can be psychic from the psychic plane, but coming down into the physical one. When the thought energy reaches the physical plane, it only looks to exteriorize. Are you all with me? He.
Yep.
So now, right? And yeah, if a cycle of one of those person's thoughts coincides with a cycle of his own, this will produce unintentionally to the first one the event which is called an accident. Okay? So, in terms of thought levels, when there are multiple thoughts taking place, when it is reaching the physical plane, it will get exteriorized. Okay? Now, if there are two people concerned, it may coincide with one of them and that will become his experience. Are you with me?
जी
राइट एक काम करो ये जरा 1 मिनट के लिए आपस में डिस्कस करो माय मॉम इज कॉलिंग मी जस्ट चेक व्हाट शी नीड्स एंड कम बैक
Yeah, let me say, while the silence fills the gap, we had a real example for this. When I was working for a Ganesh Chaturthi, I think they did 9 days of puja, a community place. All the colleagues, all the work, people who were working at the same place in Savannah, Georgia. So all the 9 days puja went very well. And then everybody left small vigrahas at the very big public place so that everything can be taken for Nimajjan on the 9th day. And there were at least 15 people or so who tried to carry Lord Ganesha as well as the small idols all to the sea coast in order for Nimajjan. There, I think either they could not wait for the suitable boat or something. So they said, "No, let's all go. We are able-bodied people." And they carried all these vigrahas and walked a little bit and tried to enter into the ocean. They went in and 7 of them did not come back. And later on, they found 7 bodies. It was such a tragic affair there. I don't know where thought would influence this particular situation. So I still fail to understand the thought induces this kind of an accident. It was such a miserable thing for the entire community there, specifically after doing 9 days of a puja and then losing 7 people, unless the only way that we can reconcile is that, yes, that was probably the sole exit plan they had.
So one is sole, yeah. See, it could be sole exit plan, or it could be part of their past karma, which is nothing but past thoughts. They are past thoughts getting exteriorized now. And all the people involved in that, whoever have had the negative impact of that accident, it is part of their collective thoughts. That is why they were all brought to one single juncture where everything was coinciding and their thoughts were getting balanced. So from a thought perspective, that is why it got exteriorized. But there are people who will call it an accident. And that could have got influenced as we get into that analysis of that example. We will realize that that could also be the thoughts pertaining to the plan that had been drawn up by others who were dependent on this person, on these persons. That is the next dimension.
Young people, young
So
wild.
it has got nothing to do with young or old. It is a question of thought that they have issued. The thought has to get exteriorized.
And they were
You-
all very nice people too. Very nice people, qualified. Everybody was an immigrant over here or
Sir, but
on
end
a-
of the day, all of them, sir, this is with respect to their physical existence in the materialistic world. What all you have said. What all you have said, they are great people, highly accomplished people, all that is part of their materialistic accomplishment. What
Hmm.
about the spiritual influence on their lives? We are none the wiser of those. We don't know anything about it.
So what about those families, what they are going through?
No, those families' plan would have impacted this person also.
Yeah,
See, suppose the desire of some of those family members was to lead a life without that parental care.
okay.
Okay. And see, when we read about the soul contracts, etc., from Richard Squad, Robert Squads, and the Peter Richelieu, and all those books, one thing we
Mhm.
get to understand, right? But where are you forming that karma? What is the source of your karma?
the past life.
Past life or otherwise, it is all from your thought. Sir, wonderfully said, Rajan Sir. Doer. But we need to remember one thing. See, in Rusbe Barucha, in his channel, when he is explaining about Shirdi Sai's Satcharitra, which runs into 133 episodes, right? He talks about one thing when someone asks a similar question. He says, when you first arrive as a soul in this planet, did you have any karma? Let
No.
us try to logically understand. Did you arrive with some karma?
Assume that it should have been done, maybe that not in this
No.
particular form
There
of
is, in the first life, there is no karmic influence.
Yeah,
Everything is free will.
yeah.
Everything is free will. And that free will, that action will start generating your desire, your feeling, your thought. They collectively manifest as the karmic influence on you, which is sitting in your. See, you have your Panchakoshas, correct?
yes,
Or Saptakoshas, whatever you take.
whatever it is. Yeah.
You start with your physical body, then your ethereal body, then your astral body, and then your Manomaya Kosa, your mental body, your causal, and you go on that way, right? From the mental onwards does not perish when the physical and its double, which is the ethereal,
Yes.
right? When they perish, the others do not perish.
Yes. Three of them continue to
They
be there.
get separated during the 13 stages that he talks in chapter 1 and chapter 2. The 13 stages of what happens to you post your death. Right? Before you are ready for your rebirth, when your separations is happening with all those energy and its components, they are going and sitting as your thoughts that need to be balanced, the karma, and so on. And your next life very clearly adds all these components, and you are guided by your spiritual resource. Because look at it from this way. Your thoughts, the collective thoughts of all the people, becomes the guiding principles of manifestation when it comes to the administration of the universe by the realm of permanence. Are you with me?
Yes.
So now, when they are helping you set your birth plan for the next stage or the next birth, all these parameters are concerned. That will take the role of where you are supposed to be born, which type of a family you are supposed to be born, what are the handicaps with which you are supposed to be born. Nothing is happening devoid of those inputs. And those inputs are starting with parameters that you have to learn plus the parameters that you have undergone. For your 360-degree of experience of each of those 35, or as per Ramakrishna mission, it is 42.
Yeah.
Virtues or divine principles, or you may use any word. Correct. So all those have an impact on the way you are going to proceed with your action. Now, we are now trying to study how those become accidents in your life. Those also come from those events that are influenced by them or your free will. But even the free will is guided under the influence of the thoughts that you have issued in the near future or near past. And the others are inputs which are going to take you through the entire journey. So our taking call, drawing out perception will not be accurate enough is all that we are learning from the chapter so far. Everyone with me? Any objections to this explanation?
No.
Yeah. Right? Okay. Then let us proceed. Okay. Now, are there any other ways in which these accidents can happen? What the pathway could be different? Another manner in which accidents are brought about is by elementals. So this covers the explanation I gave, which I didn't think that this is what I was talking about. Elementals are again what, sir? Elementals are, who are these elementals?
Earth, water.
No, those are elements. Elementals are, they
Oh.
are also part of the being of the thoughts of various people.
Oh, I
Okay.
see.
And they are nature matter in the intelligent side, but which have a role to play. So they are unintelligent and intelligent when it comes to elementals. But fundamentally, though the book calls it unintelligent, those on the borderline are also part of those elementals. Because some of them have a little bit of recognition and consciousness of their own. Yeah. But very well reminded. Yes, that is correct. So if they are nature matter coming more from the nature, this one. They are at some state of evolution, these nature matters. So I think I will agree with Rajan sir. Ranjan or Rajan sir? What's your name?
Ranjan.
Ranjan. Yeah, I will agree
Ranjan.
with what Ranjan said. I stand corrected. Right. So now, by the elementals, now what happens? These nature units, they follow are bound by a man's thought and rush with these elemental nature units, they rush into his body as an impulse so that he unexpectedly performs an act when the result is an accident to him. He may, for instance, cut himself or may fall in front of a fast-moving vehicle. Okay. Now let us see, is there any other reason of how these thoughts begin to continue their cycles and come to the exteriorization? yet another way in which elementals may act. To precipitate a thought is by producing an occurrence without human intervention, such as when a fire burns a man, or a cinder gets into his eyes, or melting ice drops on him from a roof, or he finds articles of value in every instance. His own thought-seeking exteriorization is the means of precipitating upon him an event which he calls an accident. Are you with me? Right? These are all circumstances, explanations, events that are classified by the term an accident. And the pathway from thought to reality, how and what influence their exteriorization. Are you all with me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I mean, hats off to this guy. The way he has brought about this book, though his language is confusing, is absolutely, at least I am tumhe to fika ho gaya. Right? I mean, see, for many of us in our life, this is at least bringing us the required clarity of why something is happening and why it is not. Right? I mean, so much clarity. Probably after Patri said, this is the only one that is giving us some clarity.
The 32 years for writing this book.
Exactly.
So clarity आनी चाहिए ना so.
नहीं, इससे भी ज्यादा क्लैरिटी चाहिए तो आपको द सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन बाय मैडम एचपी ब्लेवर्ट्स्की वो पढ़ना पड़ेगा और वो इसका बाप है कंफ्यूजन में. See,
I
this
will
book
differ
also-
here, sir.
Sir,
I will differ here.
Yeah.
Annie Besant and Lead Wheater.
yeah,
They are
they are also
by Annie
good.
Besant. Thought forms, thought waves, power and use of thought.
Yes,
In those three books, in a very proper manner, it has been explained as well.
it has been, but see, one thing that is missing in those books and this one is the integration of all those points. उसमें पूरा integrated नहीं है. As individual concepts, they are wonderful. See, when I was reading about soul, I never got the clarity till I read the explanation of soul in Sufism. See, there's a wonderful book, Heart, Soul, and Self and Soul, right? Wherein he speaks about spirituality, the Sufism connected with the spirituality and the influence of soul. I never knew we have got 7 different components of our soul, and 5 of them come from the various kingdoms through which we have gone through in the evolution. Right? So when we take these books, probably the way they are written is each author is able to understand something, he is throwing light on that, but other parameters we get from different books. So we need to probably read through all these books to get that complete clarity. That is my submission. Right? Okay, let's proceed further. Okay, now what are accidents? Is that explanation clear? How we influence accidents? Okay, absolute silence. ये इसको pin drop silence बोलते हैं.
Just by thought,
Yeah.
the individual, either of the present or of the past, in terms of time, and the place unexpected, undetermined, but they have to agree or they have to come to a congruence at some point. Of the three factors that he is listing them is that the time, the place, and the situation.
No, purpose. Purpose. See, the purpose influences the person being present at that place.
Yeah.
But the purpose, the time and place are the key influences. Okay. Now, the person who has issued the thought is responsible for the purpose being achieved. That means that has to exteriorize. So when it is going along this path and all these four meet, it gets exteriorized. Whether it is with his intention or without, it is exteriorized definitely. If he is happy about it, it is not an accident. If it is against his intention and unpleasant, it is definitely an accident. Right? Now, there are the pathway of the thought is his thoughts from the current, from the past, or some thought which is influenced by something that he would not do to himself, but it is necessary to get exteriorized. Condition 1. Condition 2, there are elementals at play who are also involved, which is not his influence, but others are influencing. Let us take one nature element, sir. For example, suppose we want to understand how this corona happened. Your intention was only to kill those animals and eat. You have eaten, fine. You have taken bats, you have taken all that, right? But you have caused an ecosystem imbalance. Now, nature will work with its elementals to bring about a scenario that, right? Oh, I am eating non-veg, it may harm my health. ठीक है, कोरोना के रूप में इसको दे दो. कोरोना आया through elementals. This guy's past thought is there. They all coincide. He was available at that moment. He got washed up. This is a perfect example I can think about how the elementals work. Right? So, how it happens, whether you call it accident, whether you call it something else, this is how the pathway that it can take and come to practical manifestation is what we are able to come to. Okay. Right.
I just have,
yeah.
let me quickly clarify. So this coronavirus is thoughts released by the animals as a group?
Or it could be nature because the imbalance is coming up.
Oh, eco imbalance. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It can be anything. See, just like us, even the nature is subject to getting its own thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So any of these, I mean, this is my interpretation, my understanding from what we read, right? And it is open for debate so that there is a lot more clarity. We get more conscious light into the understanding that we are taking. Yeah. I think I will stop here because tomorrow is a working day for many in India.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to get disturbed. 10:30 is a good time to stop. I can go up to 11:30, no issue. But I'm a retired. Yeah.
Sir,
Haji.
accident could be good and bad.
Yes. It could be pleasant, unpleasant, good, bad. It can take any shape. That is why I said I am not adding any vector quantity to it. Right? I cannot add any direction to it. I cannot add any direction to it, but it can be anything.
Because both can happen unexpected.
Yes. Anything that is unintentional, unexpected is an accident. Yeah. So I will stop here.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. Yes, sir. Rajan sir, that is perfect. I will stop the recording here.